And the timing of this really couldn't be worse for the government as it continues to resist all those calls for further cost of living measures this side of the budget.
Not only those cost of living measures, Colette, but also the fact that the government is still also trying to revive pay talks with other lower paid public sector workers who are arguing for a pay increase which is far less than that which is due to the higher earners in only a couple of weeks' time. What this boils down to is a debate within government over whether it might be possible to defer these pay increases, although they are technically not pay increases, they are the undoing of pay cuts, which were implemented throughout the financial crisis, as you say, and which were due back for the highest public sector earners on the 1st of July. Now, every other public sector worker under €150,000 has already got back all of the pay that was deducted from them over the course of the financial crisis. This higher ending group were deliberately left until the end of the process because it wasn't considered fair that they would get higher increases before everyone else got what was due returned back to them. The problem now being, of course, that the government is facing clamours from all parties in the Dáil and indeed from none to try and do something about the cost of living at a time when it could be devoting a large number to these higher earners. But the Housing Minister, Darragh O'Brien, has been questioned about this morning, and he says that it is only right that the government follow through on its obligations.
Is the timing great? No, it's not, but the legal advice that is very, very clear. We're a government who will stand over the agreements that we make. We're not in the position of just ripping up agreements. One would imagine what that would look like when we're in the process of actually trying to negotiate a new public sector pay agreement. And, you know, it's important that we stand over what we said we would do. Many of the people in this area are very important. As I said, public health consultants and others who will have their pay restored. We need them working in the system.
Now, Darragh O'Brien has been taking leaders' questions for Micheál Martin inside the Dáil chamber in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and this has been raised with him by the Aontú leader, Peadar Tóibín, who says that the government's defence that it's simply this is bound by law and that it cannot be undone doesn't wash, because it is within the power of the government to go back to the Dáil and Shannon and look for a change in the law. But Darragh O'Brien says that wouldn't be appropriate either, because these pay increases or the restoration of previous pay cuts were all agreed in previous public sector arrangements, and the government could not in good faith try to go back to the table and negotiate a new pay deal if it was still walking away from some of the obligations that it made for a previous one. But nonetheless, the optics that some people who are the highest earning civil servants in the state, albeit in very pressurised jobs like hospital consultancy, will be getting such a large pay bump in the coming weeks at a time when everyone else is struggling, is something the government is going to find very difficult to manage the optics of.
All right, Gavan, thank you for that.